Oh, hey guys, didn't see you there. I was trying to drown my sorrows from the horrible fantasy football season I'm having yet again. As predictable as the sun rising in the east and setting in the west, I will be terrible at fantasy. That's just a fact I need to just come to terms with, and it took me 10 weeks this football season, but I finally got it. So, I know it's been a little bit. I'm going to do something different today. What I'm going to do is go through reverse order of the power rankings. So last first, you'll get that when you see Gabe first. And what I'm going to do is go through and I'm going to do kind of a draft recap thing where I look at best draft pick, worst draft pick, and then best transaction of note for the year so far. So kind of a twofer here since it's been a little while since I've posted for you guys. So here we go. Alright, so I mentioned Gabe is last in the power rankings. I don't think that comes as any surprise. You're tied for the worst record. You have the fewest points scored. That's pretty much irrefutable at this point as far as your draft goes. I saw Zach Ertz for $7 and Cam for $4. I couldn't figure out which one I liked more, so I'll just throw them both in there as your best draft picks. As far as worst, I mean, you could go Brandon Marshall for 15, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Darren McFadden for $9. Spending even $1 on a guy who has had one rush for -2 yards this year has got to be your worst. As far as transactions, man, I didn't see a single one that I liked. What in the world are you doing? Alright, coming in at number 11 in the power rankings is Mr. Savoy. Now, I liked Leonard Fournette as your best draft pick. You spent $46, which isn't cheap, but I mean, you took a gamble on a rookie and he's paid off, man, so I liked that one. As far as your worst, I'm going to go ahead and say Edelman for $1, even though he tore his ACL or whatever, he died or something, I don't know. And then I'm going to throw Eddie Lacy in there just because I hate Eddie Lacy and I think it's absurd that you drafted him. And then as far as your transaction, I got to go with Juju Smith-Schuster, man. I mean, you single-handedly beat me. One of your 3 wins on the year is almost entirely because Juju just went off. So that's got to be your transaction of the year so far. Alright, so number 10 in the power rankings, maybe controversial, whatever. I got you, Jeremy, in the 10 spot. I mean, you haven't scored 100 points since week 7. Your team's not very good, man. I know you got a better record than me, but sorry, I had to put you behind me. As far as your draft goes, I had James White, I guess, for $1 as your best draft pick. You had slim pickings, man. Not much to choose from. I guess Gronk maybe second. As far as your worst draft pick, I guess everything else. I mean, you drafted like 11 defensive players, and yeah, that's about it, buddy. And your transaction, you don't seem very active on the wire, man, so you ain't even trying to clean up your garbage. And at the 9 spot, everyone's favorite sad clown, yours truly. It's been a rough year, guys. It's been hard. It's been trying, but looking at my draft, I mean, best draft pick has got to be Evan Ingram down there for $1. He's been killer for me all year. Worst draft pick, I mean, it's got to be Danny Woodhead. I screwed that up even during the draft, and I've completely cursed Danny Woodhead probably for the rest of his career. As far as transactions go, J-Rock, Jerick McKinnon has been my baller compliment to Le'Veon Bell for the last 6 weeks or so. He's got to be on my best transaction. And number 8 is everyone's second favorite punching bag, Captain Black. Watching you lose 6 in a row has been pretty awesome. I'm not, that's horrible. Anyway, on your draft, Kareem Hunt for $9, obviously, has to be up there as one of the top draft picks of all time. Worst, Luck for $2. I mean, Luck is probably never going to play ever again. This was one of my favorite transactions. Was actually picking up Alvin Kamara earlier this year after Nate drops him inexplicably. Another Devontae Freeman drop for Nate 3 years ago. Playing him for the majority of the season, losing all the while, but nevertheless playing him, and then trading him back to Nate for other players. That was pretty baller. Lucky number 7 goes to 5-5 Dave. You might have drafted the most players who are either not on the team or on IR at this point. You got pretty crappy luck. Your best draft pick, dude, all the way at the bottom, Jags D for $1. Dude, the Jags D have outscored some skill players this year, so that was pretty awesome. As far as worst, had to be Allen Robinson, who played like 3 downs before he tore his something. I don't even remember at this point. It was so long ago for $17. You were another guy, Dave, who doesn't seem to have done anything on the waiver wire, which really makes me question how in the world you're 5-5 looking at your draft, considering you haven't done much on the waiver wire. Oh well, some people get all the luck. And at number 6, which is absurd considering where he was a couple of weeks ago, but I think he's won either 4 or 5 straight at this point. We got Sean. You on fire, man. Thanks. Rising up them rankings. Best draft pick. I went with Ted Ginn for number 1. For $1 rather, because he's been pretty solid, and I don't really think anybody saw that coming. Some of your other draft picks were obviously questionable. David Johnson and Odell Beckham. I mean, I think David Johnson got hurt in week 1, so spending $70 on him to get less than 1 game out of him obviously had to be the worst. And then your transaction, you made some pretty solid transactions. You scooped up Thielen. You grabbed Robbie Anderson, and then you happily ridded yourself of Will Fuller right before Deshaun Watson goes down, rendering him utterly useless for me to use, so appreciate that very much. At number 5, we got Andy, and even though I'm still sour about you beating me by 1 point last week, I gotta respect your top 5. As far as the draft, man, Zeke for 36, even though he's suspended now, you got him for 9 weeks. That's just like the majority of the regular season. I would pay that much for an elite talent like that. Willie Snead, dude. Willie Snead's season's been funny. He's had like no points pretty much all year, so the fact that you paid $9 for him was definitely rough. Dude, your transaction, you probably already know what I'm going to say. Jamison Crowder, dude, I had him all year. He did absolutely squat for me. You pick him up, and he has the best game of his year, and he's been solid since then. So I'm going to go ahead and say that one right there. The guy on a Buffalo coming in at number 4. Dude, I would have never thought at this point in the year you'd be top 4, considering the atrocities that auto draft did you on that draft, man. All in all, not that bad though. McCaffrey was definitely your best at $27. He's been pretty solid. The worst pick for you was definitely auto drafting. Next time, pick to be at the draft. That probably will help you. And then transaction of the year, we were texting about this the other day, but me giving you Jimmy Graham for stupid, I don't even remember his name, after he completely wrecked me in the first 2 weeks, catching like 3 balls for 9 yards, and then I just got tired of him, gave him to you, and he's been baller for you, so screw you. Number 3's got to be Micah, winning the last 2 and pulling himself out of the middle of the pack, putting himself in the playoff conversation. Dude, I was looking at your draft, so funny story. So I was thinking either Thielen for $4 or Wentz for $1 as your best draft picks, Montgomery as your worst draft pick for sure, $23. But then I was looking at your transactions and it made me laugh because I saw that you dropped Adam Thielen early in the season, but so that screwed you. But then you picked up Nelson Aguilar, who against all odds has shocked a lot of people and had a pretty solid season. So that's probably your best transaction. Number 2, things getting real. We got Nate, who's trying to trade his way to the very top. Um, you draft, dude. Russell Wilson's been money this year, and you got him for $4. Props there. I warned you. I warned you at the time. Marshawn Lynch, not worth $24. I think you'll agree with me on that one. Transaction of the year, dude. I thought it was funny that you traded away C.J. Anderson and Terrence West, who are like utter garbage at this point, and got Doug Baldwin back, who's been like killer with that Russell Wilson Baldwin combination. So that's got to be the transaction for you, man. And number one, no surprise here, but it's a thorn, particularly in my side, considering we played each other for Sacco last year, and it proves you can go worst to first, except I can't. You can. I can't. As far as the draft goes, Gurley for $27, dude. That was friggin' awesome. Ajayi for 48. I think you'll agree he's not worth a quarter of your budget. Dude, I was looking at transactions. Didn't see much. I guess I would say Case Keenum, but you never had to play him because friggin' Prescott has been so good for you. So your team's just been evergreen, man. You haven't even had to make transactions. And props to you guys for sticking through 11 minutes of my insane ramblings. But I now know that a draft recap, a transaction recap, and power rankings is a little too much to go for in just one video. So I know that now. So thanks. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys stay cool, baby.